Yeah.
Instead of a rear naked.
What a nice heavy side control.
You know, so Rob, she simply, somebody needs on belly, buck up.
Sanko on the back, looking for a finish. Awesome.
It's a round.
There you go.
It's a round.
Let's see how long.
It's a side naked choke almost.
Yeah.
Instead of a rear naked.
Sanko victorious. Hometown. Nicely done. Kansas City is a little bit on fire tonight.
And so one thing I think that's really important to me about doing this is that I think anytime you do something for the first time, people are going to have something to say about it. So I'll just say it. Like, the number of people I've supposedly slept with is just endless. It's so long, and it would be exhausting if it was true. So, and I don't see other well-respected voices in the sport. You know, they don't get that. Brad Okamoto.
Laura Sanko just dropped a massive bombshell message that has the entire MMA world talking. The UFC commentator sent a clear and direct warning to Dana White and the UFC brass, and she's not holding back. She said, "Because there's one name that I am dying to see in the UFC, and that's Dakota Ditcheva. What a fighter. Yeah, what a fighter. Talk about the women's division needing a superstar, and talk about a perfectly packaged, talented, gorgeous, eloquent, respectful, good, like literally checks every single box, and she's right there, and she is a flyweight."
Because there's one name that I am dying to see in the UFC, and that's Dakota Ditcheva.
What a fighter.
Yeah.
What a fighter.
Talk about the women's
Can you imagine her
division needing a superstar, and talk about a perfectly packaged, talented, gorgeous, eloquent, respectful, good, like literally checks every single box, and she's right there, and she is a flyweight.
And here's the kicker. Dana White has now responded on Twitter. Laura Sanko is sounding the alarm, who Dakota Ditcheva really is, and what this could mean for the future of women's MMA. Stick around because this story is bigger than you think. Before we dive into Dakota Ditcheva, let's talk about why Laura Sanko's words carry so much weight. Laura isn't just another commentator. She's a former fighter herself who competed at strawweight and understands the sport from the inside out. More importantly, she's become one of the most respected voices in MMA broadcasting, known for her sharp analysis and her ability to spot talent before it breaks through. When Laura Sanko speaks about women's MMA, people listen. She doesn't throw around praise lightly, and she doesn't push fighters just for hype. So when she goes on record calling someone perfectly packaged and says she's dying to see them in the UFC, that's not casual commentary. That's a real endorsement.
3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go. Go. Stop. Break.
Her message to Dana White isn't just about signing another fighter. It's about recognizing a potential superstar before the competition does. And in this case, that superstar is Dakota Ditcheva. So who exactly is Dakota Ditcheva, and why is she being called the violent Cinderella of MMA? Let's start with her background. Dakota was literally born into the fight world. Her mother, Lisa Howard, was a successful kickboxer who owned a gym for over 30 years. Dakota didn't just train at the gym. She grew up in it, surrounded by fighters her entire childhood. It's a real-life martial arts fairy tale. Before transitioning to MMA, Dakota was a two-time British Muay Thai champion, showcasing elite striking skills that would become her trademark. But here's what makes her special. She didn't stop there. She evolved. Now training at American Top Team under legendary coach Conan Silveira, Dakota has developed into a complete mixed martial artist. She's not just a striker anymore. She's got wrestling, grappling, clinch work, and fight IQ that keeps improving with every performance. Dakota is currently undefeated in the PFL, and she doesn't just win fights, she dominates them. Her last performance was described by fans as a savage beating, where she punished her opponent for 15 straight minutes. And here's the champion mindset. She was actually upset she didn't get the finish.
Just relax. Ready?
Fucking, I snorted like a pig. I just turned into Miss Piggy.
Ready?
No. No, I'm not. I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
Oh my god.
Kickboxer me like that.
I will. 3, 2, 1.
Now let's get back to Laura Sanko's comments, because there's more depth here than just praising a fighter. Laura specifically mentioned that the women's division needs a superstar. And that's not an exaggeration, it's a fact. The women's flyweight division has been dominated by Valentina Shevchenko for years, and while she's an incredible champion, the division has struggled to create new stars that casual fans get excited about. When Laura calls Dakota perfectly packaged, she's talking about more than just fighting skills. She's talking about marketability. Dakota is talented, gorgeous, eloquent, and respectful. She has the complete package that the UFC looks for in a superstar fighter.
Nice.
The message to Dana White is crystal clear. Don't sleep on this one. Sign her now before you regret it. And here's where things get really interesting. Dana White has now responded on Twitter. The fact that he's engaging with the conversation at all is significant. Dana knows that Laura Sanko doesn't make these kinds of statements lightly, and he also knows that the women's divisions need fresh blood and new stars.
She was running around like a lunatic tonight. When I walked in there, she seemed a little frazzled. I said, there you go. Be careful what you wish for, kid. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. But congratulations to her. She's earned it. She deserves it. She belongs there. And she's as educated and as good at talking about fights as anybody else in the game. So I think tonight was the beginning of a great career for her.
Dakota Ditcheva has already gone on record saying she's interested in a champion versus champion fight. When asked about facing the UFC flyweight queen, she said, "I don't know if a UFC super fight is in my immediate future, but if PFL champ versus UFC champ happens, I'm happy to do it. That would be a real history-making fight." Think about what this means. We're talking about a 27-year-old fighter so confident in her abilities that she's calling out one of the greatest women's fighters of all time. That's not arrogance. That's the mindset of someone who truly believes they belong at the top.
So your last fight, I remember as it was happening, and I remember reading some tweets about you saying the best female flyweight in the world right now is Dakota Ditcheva.
I'm not going to say I'm not. That's the goal. What a lovely comment to make. I still feel like I've got so much to learn, obviously. I feel like I'm definitely showing I can be up there, but I'm still young, still 25, so if people are talking about me like that now, then, you know, that's a good thing.
Valentina Shevchenko has ruled the flyweight division for years with her technical brilliance and fighting IQ. But time catches up with everyone, and the new generation is always coming. Could Dakota Ditcheva be the one to finally dethrone the queen? Right now, it's all speculation. But the fact that this fight is even being discussed shows how seriously the MMA world is taking Dakota's potential. A PFL versus UFC super fight would be massive for the sport and would give us a definitive answer about whether Dakota is truly ready for the elite level. Let's talk about the business side of this for a moment, because Laura Sanko's warning isn't just about talent, it's about timing. The UFC is in a unique position right now. The women's divisions, particularly flyweight, are struggling to create new stars that capture mainstream attention. Ronda Rousey is long gone, Amanda Nunes is retired. The sport needs fresh faces that can drive pay-per-view buys and social media engagement. Dakota Ditcheva checks every single box. She's undefeated and dominant. She has an exciting fighting style. She's marketable with crossover appeal. She's young at 27 years old, with years of prime fighting ahead. She has a compelling backstory. She can talk. She's eloquent and media-friendly.
Slung and a right hand. Oh, another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hammer fist! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
Dakota Ditcheva just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the Muay Thai community. The rising star has issued a career-threatening message to Katia Pinto that no one saw coming. Dakota Ditcheva has never been one to hold back, and her latest statement proves exactly that. In a jaw-dropping declaration, Dakota sent a direct message to Katia Pinto that left fans stunned. "I will eat your career," Dakota warned, her words dripping with confidence and intensity. But she didn't stop there. In a follow-up interview, Dakota revealed her mindset and preparation strategy. "I'm prepared. I will be prepared when it comes to it. I will go to Thailand next week for 3 weeks to prepare for that. It's just making sure the hand's okay, really. I don't want to go get back into it too soon and then have further problems with the hand in the future. I want to make sure it's right before I do anything with it."
I'm prepared. I will be prepared when it comes to it. I go to Thailand next week for 3 weeks to prepare for that. It's just making sure the hand's okay, really. I don't want to get back into it too soon and then have further problems with the hand in the future. I want to make sure it's right before I do anything with it.
These aren't just empty words. Dakota is backing up her bold claims with serious action, heading to Thailand for an intensive 3-week training camp. This is the kind of dedication that has made her one of the most feared strikers in women's combat sports. But the bombshell didn't end with the interview. Dakota took to Twitter and social media, amplifying her message to Katia and making sure the entire world knew what was coming. The tweet quickly went viral, sparking heated debates among fans about whether this is confidence or a dangerous underestimation of her opponent. Katia Pinto is a Portuguese Muay Thai fighter based in Sheffield, England. With a professional record of 1-1-0 and competing at 111 pounds, Katia has been training under the legendary Christian Di Paolo, one of the most respected names in British combat sports. But Katia is more than just a fighter. She's a woman on a mission. Katia trains twice daily, maintaining a grueling schedule that would break most people. She's fought at some of the biggest events across the UK, including a notable victory over Lawrence Silence at St. Albans Arena in front of a sold-out crowd. Katia is building her career from the ground up, seeking funding to transition fully into professional fighting. She regularly travels to Thailand for intensive training camps, pushing herself to compete at the highest levels. This isn't some random opponent Dakota is calling out. This is a dedicated warrior with heart, skill, and a growing fan base. Here's what makes this story even more intense. Dakota and Katia have history. The two fighters met in the ring on June 25th, 2016, at the Machines on Fire event in the UK. Back then, Dakota wasn't the household name she is today. Katia, with her experience and confidence, stepped in believing she could take down the young prospect. The fight went the full 5 rounds, and it was a showcase of Dakota's evolving dominance. From the opening bell, Dakota used her height, reach, and technical precision to control the pace. Her jab was lightning fast, her leg kicks were punishing, and her clinch work was suffocating. Katia showed incredible toughness and heart. She landed clean counters, pushed forward with aggression, and refused to back down. In round 3, she even caught Dakota with a solid right hand that made everyone sit up and take notice. But Dakota was simply too sharp, too fast, and too composed. She mixed her strikes fluidly, transitioning from punches to kicks to devastating knees in the clinch. By the championship rounds, Dakota was in complete control. The judges scored the fight unanimously in Dakota's favor. It wasn't a knockout, but it was a statement. Dakota had proven she belonged at the top, and Katia, despite her best efforts, couldn't overcome the future star. For Dakota Ditcheva, this is about dominance. She's moved on from Muay Thai to dominate in MMA with the PFL, but she clearly hasn't forgotten her roots or the opponents she faced on her way up. By calling out Katia now, Dakota is sending a message not just to her, but to everyone. She's still the same killer who destroyed opponents in Muay Thai, and she's only gotten better. Her 3-week training camp in Thailand shows she's not playing games. Even while managing a hand injury, Dakota is preparing like this is the biggest fight of her life. That's the mindset of a champion. For Katia Pinto, this is both a challenge and an opportunity. Being called out by someone as high-profile as Dakota Ditcheva puts Katia back in the spotlight. If she responds and somehow gets this fight, it could be career-defining. But there's a risk too. Dakota's message wasn't just competitive trash talk, it was a promise to end careers. Katia would be stepping back into the ring with a fighter who has evolved exponentially since their first meeting. The question is, does Katia have what it takes to prove Dakota wrong? Or will Dakota make good on her promise? As expected, social media has absolutely exploded over this. Some are calling Dakota a savage, praising her confidence and killer instinct. Comments like, "Dakota doesn't just beat you, she takes your soul," and "Katia should retire now before it gets ugly" are flooding in. But others are defending Katia, pointing to her heart, her dedication, and her journey. Katia is a warrior who gives back to her community. Respect her, one fan wrote. Another added, "Don't sleep on Katia." Heartbeats hype every time. The combat sports community loves this kind of drama. It's real, it's raw, and it's exactly what makes this sport so compelling. The question everyone is asking now, will this fight actually happen? And if it does, will it live up to the hype? Dakota Ditcheva has thrown down the gauntlet with one of the most brutal callouts we've seen in recent memory. Her message to Katia Pinto wasn't just about winning a fight, it was about ending a career.
Double. Push. Yeah. 2 roll. 2 break. Double. Push.
With Dakota heading to Thailand for an intense 3-week training camp and her hand on the mend, she's preparing like a fighter possessed. Meanwhile, Katia Pinto has a choice to make: respond to the challenge or let the moment pass. One thing is certain, Dakota Ditcheva is a force of nature, and anyone who steps in front of her is in for the fight of their life. What do you think? Should Katia accept this challenge? Can she pull off the upset of a lifetime? Or will Dakota make good on her promise and end Katia's career? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the latest combat sports news and drama. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.
Come on in.
The fence.
We're ready.
So long and rangy.
Put away.
Everyone knows Dakota Ditcheva as the dangerous knockout artist who puts opponents to sleep with her fists. But what happens when the striker decides to become a submission specialist for one night? This is the story of how Dakota shocked the entire MMA world and proved she's not just a one-dimensional fighter. Today, we're breaking down one of the most shocking moments in PFL Europe history. Dakota Ditcheva, the British-Bulgarian phenom who had built her entire reputation on devastating knockouts, just submitted a seasoned grappler in the most unexpected way possible. For those who don't know Dakota, let me paint you a picture. This 24-year-old former Muay Thai champion came into MMA like a wrecking ball. In 2022, she signed with the Professional Fighters League and immediately announced herself with 2 brutal first-round knockouts. We're talking about a fighter with 6 knockouts in her first 7 wins, 5 of them in the first round. Fast forward to 2023, and Dakota finds herself in the PFL Europe tournament with $100,000 on the line. She's already in the quarterfinals, and her opponent, Malin Hermansson, a Swedish veteran who's the complete opposite of Dakota.
Good job from Hermansson rolling into her.
Hermansson looking to scramble out of the back. She's got it.
She's got a
force on the chin.
Beautiful left stop.
Victory for Dakota Ditcheva!
While Dakota was known for putting people to sleep with her fists, Hermansson was known for putting people to sleep with her chokes. This woman has competed in Bellator, Cage Warriors, and Brave CF. She's a submission artist who breaks arms and chokes opponents unconscious without blinking an eye. And here's where it gets interesting. Hermansson was supremely confident going into this fight. Listen to what she said. "If you compare my fighting experience, it's huge. Going into the second, third rounds, that's definitely an advantage for me.
I can't wait to show you who is the real warrior." Maybe she never fought with someone like me, so...
She thought Dakota's striking wouldn't matter if she could drag this fight into deep waters. She was about to learn that Dakota had been hiding something from the world. From the opening bell, you could see Dakota had a different game plan. Instead of hunting for the knockout like everyone expected, she was patient, methodical. She tested the waters with jabs and kicks, but something felt different.
As we've seen a couple of times already. Here's a clinch now. We've seen this pay big dividends for Dakota Ditcheva.
Then it happened. Within 30 seconds, Hermansson shot for a takedown, probably thinking, perfect, this is where I want this fight. But Dakota, she showcased wrestling training that nobody knew she had. She refused to go down easily. But here's where Dakota's fight IQ really showed. Instead of just defending, she started attacking. Vicious knees to the ribs that had the crowd gasping. The striker was out-grappling the grappler.
She creates just a little bit of space. And not ready at that point. Beautiful takedown.
Excellent work. Ditcheva just put her right leg behind.
And then came the moment that shocked everyone. Dakota didn't just defend Hermansson's grappling, she turned the tables completely. She took down the veteran grappler, transitioned to her back with the smoothness of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and locked in a rear naked choke that was absolutely inescapable. 3 minutes and 52 seconds. That's all it took for Dakota to completely rewrite the narrative about her fighting style.
Pinned.
Good job from Hermansson rolling into her.
Hermansson looking to scramble out of the back. She's got it. There's the force on the chin.
Beautiful left stop.
Victory for Dakota Ditcheva.
After the fight, Dakota's confidence was through the roof, and rightfully so. Listen to what she said. "I showed I'm not just a striker. You need more than split decision wins if you want to knock me out of this competition.
And show that I'm not just a striker in these flyweights. You need to be careful.
This wasn't just a win. This was a statement. Dakota had just proven that while everyone was focused on her striking, she was quietly becoming a complete mixed martial artist. The girl who built her name on knockouts had just submitted one of Europe's most experienced grapplers. And her message to the competition? Brutal and confident. I feel a little bit sorry for the one that's going to face me next.
I'm excited, but I feel a little bit sorry for the one that's going to face me next.
This victory changed everything we thought we knew about Dakota Ditcheva. She's no longer just a dangerous striker. She's a complete fighter who can end you anywhere the fight goes. Think about it. If you're her next opponent, how do you game plan for her now? You can't just focus on avoiding her striking because she'll submit to you. You can't just take her down because she might take you down and choke you unconscious. At only 24 years old, still early in her MMA career, Dakota has shown the kind of evolution that separates good fighters from great ones. She identified a weakness in her game, worked on it in secret, and then unveiled it when it mattered most. Dakota Ditcheva's submission victory over Malin Hermansson wasn't just another win. It was the birth of a new version of one of Europe's most promising fighters. The striker became a submission artist for one night, and in doing so, she may have just shown us the future champion of PFL Europe. What did you think of Dakota's incredible performance? Do you think this submission victory makes her even more dangerous going forward? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible MMA content. Until next time, keep training hard, and we'll see you in the next one.
She, in my opinion, is the new face of the PFL. She was the big winner on Friday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. She is the 125-pound women's tournament winner. She is a $1 million winner. She won the PFL Europe tournament, and now the big shebang, if you will. She is the pride of Manchester and Bulgaria. She is the one and only Dakota Ditcheva.
I'm happy to be back. You know, I'm excited to get in the cage now and showcase my skills again.
We have a warning for the UFC brass today. When legendary MMA journalist Ariel Helwani and former lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov start talking about the same fighter, you better listen up. The message is crystal clear. The UFC is sleeping on what might be the most dominant female fighter on the planet right now. We're talking about Dakota Ditcheva, the undefeated PFL champion who just sent shockwaves through the MMA world with her devastating knockout of former UFC contender Taila Santos.
That was digging deep for sure. Santos is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for the championship. Not sure what that's all about.
Today, we're breaking down why the entire MMA community is going absolutely crazy on social media, demanding the UFC make a move for this 26-year-old destroyer from Manchester. Stay tuned because this story is heating up fast. Let's start with what has everyone talking. At the PFL Championship in Saudi Arabia, Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva did what she does best. She dominated from start to finish.
Come on in.
Down the fence.
Oh, we're ready.
So long and rangy.
Oh, put away. Oh, yeah.
In the co-main event, Ditcheva faced Taila Santos, a fighter who many believe deserved to beat Valentina Shevchenko for the UFC flyweight title. Santos was considered the toughest test of Ditcheva's career. The result? A brutal second-round body shot knockout that left Santos crumbling in the middle of the cage. As Ariel Helwani put it, woo Dakota Ditcheva second-round TKO, clinical, impressive. Again, she wins the million and the tournament. Face of PFL. A few months later, she did a vlog shopping for the best deal on car insurance because funds were tight. What a story.
Said, oh, I've got PFL here. It's the show that Brendan's on. So it was because Brendan had signed with them out of the UFC that I kind of knew what it was. And they were like, oh, they're launching in Europe. They're going to do like a $100,000 tournament. So they'd love to, you know, get you involved. And that's kind of how it started for me. But I think I wouldn't have known.
Think about that for a second. Just months ago, she was worried about car insurance payments. Now she's walking away with $1 million check and being called the best women's fighter on the planet. That's the kind of meteoric rise that creates superstars. Ditcheva is now 14-0 as a professional, with an absolutely ridiculous 92% knockout rate. 12 knockouts, 1 submission, and only 1 decision. Those are video game numbers, folks.
Right hand.
But here's what separates Ditcheva from other prospects. Her mindset is pure championship material, and it's exactly what caught Khabib Nurmagomedov's attention. In a recent interview with Uncrowned, Ditcheva revealed her ambitious plan. She's not just thinking about staying undefeated, she's targeting Khabib-level legendary status.
But last time out, we saw the grappling skills as well. Will we see more of that tomorrow night?
Yeah, if that's where she wants to go, I'll take it to the floor. I mean, I can fight anywhere, so I'm happy to do whatever.
You've done your camp for this fight at American Top Team, obviously probably the best gym in the world, a room full of killers there. What has that added to your game?
Yeah, I've done a full camp at Top Team this time. So, I mean, I've just had the experience of training with a lot of girls, you know, and a lot of heavier girls, highly experienced and, you know, top level. So, you know, I'm holding my own. So there's not really much people can offer me now these days. You know, I'll be in there for a tough fight, but she didn't sound too convinced herself, did she?
You got a huge fight tomorrow night, but as we all know, you're a huge City fan. They're playing tomorrow night, just before your fight. Are you watching, or are you going to be focused on the fight fully?
No, I'm definitely going to watch City if I get time, 100%. You know, they're just as important as my fight. But I mean, I always say this, I don't get paid like this.
Listen to this quote. People always say there'll always be someone there who can beat you, but who says? Why do people say that? Why accept you're going to get beat at one point? That's not the mentality you should have, she continued. I think about staying undefeated and going to 15-0, 30-0, 60-0. I'm not thinking about one loss on my record. Hell no, it's not going to happen for me.
Now, Dakota, you always come off as being so sweet, so kind, so bubbly. But you are just such a subtle, great little trash talker, especially with the hand gestures. I noticed you hushing Jenna's corner because there's been a lot of talk this week between the two of you. Did it feel good to kind of, not shut her up, but get the redemption that you wanted after all the back and forth?
Yeah, definitely. I think shut them all up. I feel like I've took a lot of stick from like all the girls this tournament, which comes with the fight game, and I never moan, you know. I just let them write what they want to write, tag me in it, all sorts of stuff, and I just let my fighting do the talking, and then I get my little say at the end. So yeah, it's satisfying to get another stoppage, you know. And even like the other girls in the tournament, like Talia Santos, she fought Jenna, she didn't stop her, she got a split decision. So I'm shutting them all up by proving them wrong and getting the first round stoppages again.
That's the exact mentality that made Khabib a legend. The refusal to accept defeat as inevitable, the belief that perfection is achievable. And just like Khabib dominated his division with grappling, Ditcheva is doing it with striking, but she's also shown massive improvements in her ground game. The American Top Team product is becoming more complete with every fight, and that combination of elite striking with improving grappling is terrifying for any potential opponent. The MMA community has completely lost its mind over this performance, and the message to the UFC is unanimous. Sign this woman now. Let me read you some of these reactions that are blowing up Twitter and Instagram. Bro, hypothetically. If Dakota Ditcheva got a title shot in her UFC debut against Valentina, I genuinely think she would demolish her. She's so well-rounded, but her striking is otherworldly. Shawty has John Jones-esque technique, and it's fire to watch. Dakota Ditcheva is UFC ready. She beats your favorite UFC W flyweight. The UFC needs to grab Dakota Ditcheva. Ditcheva might be the best women's fighter on the planet. But here's the tweet that really caught fire. UFC needs to make a trade with PFL for Dakota Ditcheva. Fans are literally demanding the UFC make a business deal to get her. When was the last time you saw this level of grassroots demand for a fighter who's never stepped foot in the octagon?
It's been viral on the internet for a reason, and in her last fight, fighting Talia Santos, TKO in the second round. She usually beats him in one. 12 knockout TKOs in her career, 1 submission. She can take her opponent down. She's a Muay Thai kickboxing stylist, and the power that she has is to behold. It's unbelievable. And I know that word is heavily used, but Dakota Ditcheva deserves that. She is unbelievable. And that's why this would be greatest fight right now in the
flyweight division has been dominated by Valentina Shevchenko for years, but fans genuinely believe Ditcheva could walk in and change everything immediately. Now here's where it gets interesting. The UFC has a real problem on their hands. Dakota Ditcheva is scheduled to fight Sumiko Inaba at PFL Cape Town on July 19th, 2025. That's her first fight of the year, and she's been vocal about her frustration with the long layoff. The PFL knows they have a superstar on their hands. They've invested heavily in building their promotion, and Ditcheva is becoming the face of their brand. But the longer they keep her from the biggest stage in MMA, the more pressure builds.
Here we go! Right on the money, baby! What a kick!
From a business perspective, the UFC flyweight division desperately needs fresh blood. Valentina Shevchenko has cleared out most of the division, and casual fans are losing interest. Ditcheva represents exactly what the division needs: youth. Youth, excitement, and devastating finishing ability. The question isn't whether Ditcheva belongs in the UFC, it's whether the UFC can afford not to have her. With her perfect record, million-dollar star power, and the kind of highlight reel finishes that go viral, she's exactly what the promotion needs to revitalize women's flyweight.